I've been saying for years to the vegan community, hey veg heads, there's a topic that people aren't talking about. In the media, they should be talking about this, and my own community should be interested in this. But for some reason, the most popular people in my YouTube vegan community are not talking about it. How could they not care about it?
You're going up against people that have massive legal resources.
It relates to veganism. That's their channel. Their channel's theme, their core message. But they're leaving out the core.
What's happening? What?
You know what I'm talking about.
They're supposed to be talking about the vegan diet and how it relates to health, saving animals, and saving the planet. And this very week is when everyone should be talking about this, because here in the US we have the big presidential election that's going to happen in 6 days. And there's a big issue that relates to veganism and politics, and that is climate change. And even the political news is not talking about this issue much. Maybe that's because the politicians are not talking about it very much. I'm sure the Green Party would talk about it if they could get on TV. But there is one candidate running that has brought it up, and I'll mention that soon. And even when the popular vegans did talk about veganism in almost every video, the idea of climate change just didn't seem to excite them. I brought up a few weeks ago, I don't think Freely has done one video out of 700 about climate change. These people have these big audiences, and they complain to the even bigger YouTubers who aren't vegan that they don't have a core message for this big audience. They should be talking about important things.
What?
Saving the planet. The extreme weather, all these catastrophes that have happened and are going to happen in the future, caused by the greenhouse effect from global warming, has not been solved yet, and it's still on its way. You can't hide from this in Thailand, and even in Australia, you can't avoid this reality. I also haven't done a lot of videos on this. I was complacent for a while, and maybe partly because no one was talking about it much, I thought that things were under control, that the government and the environmental groups were doing enough to solve this issue.
Like, what's happening?
But just a week ago, I heard that that's not the case. Turns out, all this talk about global warming being a hoax, and all these Republicans trying to stop things, well, they've been successful in stopping any kind of legislation from getting through. Until recently, with that Paris summit. I heard about this in a surprising place. It was a new series called In Other News, where they take 3 big things that happened like on the same couple days, and how you didn't hear about the other 2, because, for instance, in this episode, it's the day Michael Jackson died. You may not remember or know that it was the same day Farrah Fawcett died, and also a big environmental news happened then too. Not many people heard about it because of Michael Jackson.
Actress Farrah Fawcett has died after her 3-year battle with cancer.
I've been unfaithful to my wife.
The House set to vote on that climate bill today.
If we don't do anything now, you could see a lot of Florida disappear, for example. You could see coastal cities flooded.
On this vote, yeas are 219, nays are 212. Bill is passed.
It was a call to arms for the environmental movement, and it was a call to arms for the energy industry that felt threatened the first time that you got legislation through either house of Congress of how we were going to begin to deal with CO2 emissions. So it was a hallmark.
I've been unfaithful to my wife.
The big question is whether Mark Sanford can still remain as governor of South Carolina.
In the weeks following Michael Jackson's passing, the controversy around his death only intensifies.
Environmentalists won a landmark policy victory, but it got overshadowed in the grand scheme of things by news about the death of Michael Jackson.
Bill passed the House of Representatives. It then went to the Senate, where it never reached a vote.
Even though that only a small fraction of Americans think it's a hoax, you of course have politics. Republicans that are in our government have been stopping the legislation, and I don't think they even buy that this is a hoax. What they have bought is they've bought into the oil industry They probably bought a lot of shares of oil stock.
The fact that Americans can pass a climate change bill, even a small climate change bill, is going to be remembered by future generations as a moral failure of our generation. We already have scientific consensus that climate change is real, causing conflict around the world, or causing shortages of water, it's causing crop problems. It's just going to get worse.
Which brings us back to the election in 6 days. We have one candidate who says it's a hoax. He's come up with a new theory I haven't heard of. Probably got it from Breitbart or InfoWars, that Alex Jones guy. I have a video about him. Check it out up here after this video. Donald Trump is saying that it's a hoax perpetrated by China. And of course, this theory makes sense.
The whole thing is one big fix.
What?
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm talking fraud.
What's happening? What?
You know what I'm talking about.
Do you know what he's talking about?
If nothing else, people are going to be watching on November 8th.
But global warming is, of course, happening. He won't do anything to help the environment if he were to be president. On the other hand, there's Hillary Clinton, who has brought this issue up. She actually gave a speech where climate change was the theme. She brought a guest in, Al Gore, who I think we all know about. And I'd never heard Hillary talk about the environment much. But this was really good. So I give that a thumbs up. But not only should you vote for Hillary, you have to vote for senators and House of Representatives people. Specifically, you have to vote the Republicans out, because just about all of them are stopping any legislation for climate control.
They even want to try and rig the election at the polling booth.
What?
Right now, Congress is mostly Republican, and it's not really likely to change. This is a big problem, because they're the ones that can stop any bill that the president gives to them. Republican voters keep voting these Republican bastards into office. Only you can vote them out and put in, any other party. This really should be the big issue in the election. But cable news is going to make more money off of all these dramas and scandals. Climate change is bigger than Hillary's inbox or trash folder, and it's even bigger than Donald Trump's ego. Terrorism isn't even one of the top issues for concern, yet it gets a lot of the attention. A bigger concern is probably Russia, China, North Korea, and our own selves. I don't know if people in Australia know this, but the United States society is really crumbling. We're on the way out, and it will collapse if no one does anything. And Donald Trump has just made it worse in the last year. Without even becoming president, he's increased the hate and apathy and faith in humanity, seeing such an awful person. We need to send a strong message. That message is served on Election Day. That is our big chance to show the world what we think. And as long as I'm talking about politics, there's something irritating that happened last night, and now the news is talking about it today too, and they shouldn't be. Getting so close to the election, with Hillary not having a strong lead, there's a lot of people who are starting to blame specific groups of people if Hillary doesn't win. My mom was doing this a couple days ago, and I've been tweeting about how she's wrong. And now Obama is doing it yesterday. You may have noticed in my videos and Twitter posts that I'm on a sexism rant, basically trying to straighten out the misinformation about how our society has gotten it all backwards. And I'm getting sick. I was sick of it in the 90s. Our society and the media has been pandering to women and using this feminism thing. All they're trying to do is make money by getting views. But at the same time, they're promoting this idea that men are just to blame for everything. And some women tend to eat this shit up. And that's what the media is going for. They continue to do this. Now they're taking something Obama said yesterday and feeding it to female voters. Guess what Obama did? He blamed men if Hillary doesn't win. Well, for the last few days I've been blaming women. I have a specific tweet that says, you can blame the 51% of Americans who are female who could have put a woman into the presidency for the last 50 years or so. They've been complaining there's no woman president. Well, they can make it happen. But they've chosen not to do it. I tried to point out to my mom that there's a lot of women out there who won't vote for Hillary, and then she makes excuses. But the simple fact of the matter is a lot of women don't care for a woman to be president. Yet I've been trying to make that happen. Matter of fact, in a few days I'm going to make a video talking about why Hillary's going to win and why I'm all for that. I've been looking forward to a woman president for 25 years now. And I'm going to explain the surprising reason why. You're going to want to see that. Actually, it's not that you're going to want to see it. It's that you're going to want to share it and get it out there to people. Just like most of my videos. I'm saying stuff that's important that people should hear, but it's not getting out. Back to Obama. When he says, I'm talking to you men, what he really should be saying is, I'm talking to you old people, because they're the only problem left with sexism. Sexism died out in the 80s at least, and the generations that have come up since then are not sexist. As a matter of fact, young women, they don't even care what gender the president is, and I think younger men don't either. The problem is older people who were born into the old days of sexism, and like Obama. See, he still thinks that way, and that's why he said the stuff he said. See, people don't really change. It's newer generations that are different. These old people, they can't change. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So Obama, don't put this shit on me. Don't put this shit on my gender or the young people like myself. Check your own sexism. Vegans should be more into politics than anybody, because that's where we're going to make a big difference. And a lot of how the world is eating does come down to politics. We have to be involved in it. Go vegan. Teach veganism. Find the potential for this planet and the potential of yourself at the same time. It really doesn't matter what you call it. The fact is, it is happening. The laws on the environment don't match the extreme situation that we are facing. In a perfect world, producers would have to pay the real price of the environmental damage caused by their products. But we got government corruption, corrupted by industries. Oh, booty pie!
If you don't have a core message that's making a positive impact on the planet, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck am I doing? Seriously.
Trump publicly shamed her.
One of the worst things he said was about a woman in a beauty contest.
And that explains why the two of them don't want to release their medical records. But I could also throw in mental health. I think that's even more important, especially in this election.
Hello? The guy has a chimpanzee level understanding.
Yeah. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Meeting today with Henry Kissinger.
He said one stupid, reckless thing after another.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters.
A fear of outsiders, intense nationalism.
I think this man is crazy.
Donald Trump is a fool. He is free to be a fool. He is not free to be a dangerous fool on our shores.
Is a buffoon.
Repugnant.
Let's be clear, Donald Trump is an idiot.